Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Jason Moore, and I'm part of Group 1. Our game is called The Wizards of Ogeidnas. And if the title confuses you, you may be feeling a bit backwards right now. So I'd like to introduce the rest of my team. This is Matt. He worked largely on network, user interface, animation, some programming, input of the controllers. You want to say anything? All right. This is Talha. He worked a lot on game logic, more user interface. He was large part of making the spells work. Then we have many spells in our game. Also, some of the physics in our game, movement, and the like. Next up here is James. He was very much our largest modeler. He did a lot of the graphics, animation, modeling. Lots of really cool things that make the game look amazing. Next is Chris. He worked a lot on the terrain objects, user interface, some of the wonderful audio sounds you'll be hearing, the website, some of the modeling, some of the texturing. Also went through a pretty hectic quarter, as did some other people. I'm Jason. As I mentioned, I worked on some of the network. I was largely in control of the behavior of the armies that you'll see running across the screen. I worked on a lot of the music, some of the sound effects, and some of the simple artwork. So we'll start up the game. And while they're getting that started up, I'll give you a brief background of the story. Every good game has to have a story behind it. So we have the kingdom of Ogeidnas. And it is a peaceful land, you know, in the time of Middle-earth, wizards, monsters, all the like, and there's a great king there. And an evil sorcerer sees this land of great prosperity and wants to demolish it, wants to kill it. And so the evil sorcerer sends a spy to the kingdom, and unfortunately the spy is able to kill the king, leaving in his stead 4 of his disciples. And these disciples are very headstrong young wizards, and of course they squabble over who should take control. And time is of the essence because with the great king dead, the evil sorcerer is coming very quickly. In about 15 minutes, actually. And so, naturally, instead of working their problems out and solving it democratically, they go to war with each other. And so that's sort of the game setup. Each player is controlling one wizard and his army. When the game starts up, you'll see the map. Each wizard has 1/4 of the map dedicated to themselves. They have a tower, and then at predefined intervals, armies will spawn at the tower, and they'll be able to control them from there. So as you can see, this is the login screen. We join a server. Our game is set up, the client-server network, where the server knows everything about the game. There's the title. You input your name and connect to the IP. And then when everyone is ready, you join the game. So as you can see, this is a brief overview of our land. There's nice water. You can see a waterfall over there. There's a statue that may be familiar on top of the mountain over there. We'll see that in more detail later. As you can see, the orange player has just joined. So that's the orange tower. It has an orange crystal on the top. The tower is what you have to defend at all costs. So then you'll go and select your starting spells. So here we have the bookshelf of all these spell books that the wizard has. We have 10 spells, which we'll go into more detail to begin with. To start, I believe Talha, our featured player, will start with Stump, Blink, and Smokescreen. Blink is just a quick warping spell, or you can escape enemies. Stump is a sort of camouflage spell. You disappear from many people's views. And Smoke is a sort of a smoke screen. It makes it very difficult for anyone to see, including you. So you can come back to the spell selection later to swap out spells. But for now, we'll stick with these. So when all players are ready, that's when the game starts. And here we are in the world. You're walking around. The wizard has a nice animation. If you see at the top there of the mountain, that's the rock bear from the courtyard. If you look at this particular wizard's face, we have a very nice eye patch. Oh, there's the orange wizard just blunk into existence. One thing you can do is to excuse me. is to hit them. I believe the sound's a little low. Yeah, the music's not on. So here we are casting a spell. You can hear the wizard mumbling some sort of strange incantation. Then you cast it, and there's the smoke bomb. As you can see, you can't see. And then see the wizard has just been attacked by some of the minions. And so when you die, you become a floating soul, a wandering spirit, and you have to go back to your tower to respawn, to be reincorporated into your physical body. So you go back to the tower there, and as you can see, here's a nice army that's been building up. These are one of the first variety of minions, the weaker ones. They're very fast. They're designed to pursue a wizard and engage him and kill him. But right now they're just standing there, so you have to do something with them, and this is how we do it. You press R, and the game zooms out into real-time strategy mode, where you can see all the icons of people, and you can select the minions using the targeting reticule. So you select them with A, and you command them to go to a place on the map, and they will move there and attack anyone in the way. As you can see, the battles are fairly furious. Minions are flying everywhere. And we have a nice dying sound for the wizard. So we'll take him off to battle, and as you can see, there's a large group of minions there hiding in the grass. Bodies are flying all over the place. Those larger minions that you see, that's the second type of minion that you can produce. You have three different types of minions that you can make. The smaller swordsman variety, the larger hammer guys, and, of course, a dragon. What sort of Middle-earth game would this be without a dragon? Aha, Blue Wizard has successfully defeated Orange Wizard. And here we are casting Stump, which you are a Stump now. Now, if you look at the mini-map at this point, there is no overlay of where the Blue Wizard is, so it's a very effective camouflage. The yellow bar indicates how much longer you have to be a Stump. You can command your armies as a Stump, but you cannot, unfortunately, cast spells as a Stump. So now I think you've seen these three sort of defensive spells, so now we'll go and look at some of the more aggressive spells. Right, so he went back to the tower, sort of to open up his spellbook and remind himself or recite the ancient incantations. Next, I believe, we'll be showcasing Spikes, Hyperspace, and Fireball. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, Spikes is a sort of a linear spell. You cast it and it goes in one direction, dealing some damage. Fireball is a standard fireball. It has a parabolic path that does some damage. Very quick to cast, but not too much damage. Hyperspace is an interesting spell. It opens up a warp hole in space-time, whatever you want to call it, and anyone that goes into it is randomly teleported to somewhere on the map. So that's very effective for choke points, things like that. So here comes the Spikes. As you can see, it's pretty effective against a line of minions coming at him. Here comes a Fireball. And Chris did a very good job on the sound effects for these spells, and the graphics for them are largely particle systems that both Talha and Chris worked on. There's the hyperspace spell, teleporting them to someplace else, sort of disorienting them so you can catch them unawares with a spell. You can also attack minions, but it's not a very good idea, especially if Orange Wizard comes and stabs you in the back. Yes, so when you die, you have your hit points up in the upper left-hand corner, and when your hit points run out, you fall to the ground, and you become the floating soul that you have to return to your tower to respawn. Now you can see the tower also has health, and the goal, of course, is to destroy your opponent's tower and wizard. If the tower is still in existence and the wizard is dead, you can respawn. But if there's no tower and no wizard, then there's no chance of respawning. So as you can see, battles are fairly furious, and it can sometimes be difficult to get to a tower, which led us to some concerns as to could we fit this game into one 15-minute demonstration. We decided if we wanted to go for full-out tower destruction, probably not. So if you look in the middle of the top, there is a score there. The score is based roughly on how many minions you've killed, how many times you've died, things like that. But the biggest thing is the score is multiplied by how much tower health you have left. So if your tower has been destroyed, heavily damaged, you are in a fairly bad position. As you can see, there's about 9 minutes left? Yes. Just going over some more of the features of the game. There's a compass up in the upper right-hand corner, so you can see what direction you're facing. Now, if you saw the tower crumble there, that is a defensive mechanism we put in, that if the minions do enough damage to the tower, it crumbles, it collapses one level, and that debris damages anyone around it, effectively taking them out of the game. So that was a balance issue we wanted to take, so if one minion made it through the front lines, you wouldn't lose automatically. As you can see, that red floating one is a permanently dead soul, I believe. That is the unfortunate soul of a wizard who has lost both his health and his tower, and he is doomed to continually reincarnate as a bomb, essentially. So you can still gain points like this. Unfortunately, since your tower has negligible health, you aren't getting very many points, but it allows you to still play the game and be involved. Here comes green, about to get the tower. It doesn't look like he'll get it. So now we're going to show you the next sort of range of spells. We're going to have lightning, which is a very deadly but inaccurate spell. We're going to have Meteor, which has a very long casting time, but is extremely effective, especially against larger types of minions. And we're going to have Freeze. That sound is probably Talha's tower collapsing. Yes, you can see the minion has killed him. As you can see, all our sounds are 3D, so you can hear some wizard fighting in the distance, but you're not quite sure where he is. Here comes Thunder. As you can see, thunderbolts come down from the sky, and it's an inaccurate spell because you don't quite know where they're going to be. As you can see, there was the bomb soul taking his revenge. There he is again. Well, in fact, that was not a bomb soul. That was orange, displaying one of the spells called Kamikaze. We'll see that later. Here comes a meteor. Long casting time, but as you can see, very effective. There's Freeze, a nice effect there, and as you can see, Green Wizard has slowed to a halt. So I think next we'd like to showcase Kamikaze, and we'd like to also start building up a dragon to show the folks. Everyone wants to see dragons. Here comes Kamikaze. He casts it, and he turns into a basically walking time bomb that does a large amount of damage to a large radius. As you can see, the tower is a bit shorter now because it's taken damage. Getting closer to those rocks. Those rocks are terrain objects that Chris put in. There's rock type 1 and rock type 2. Rock type 2 looks more like a wizard. The trees are very nicely done. They add some nice ambiance. You can see some grass over there, and the water that James did an amazing job on. So I noted the dragon. You see you have with the 3 minion icons down in the lower right-hand corner. And each one of them is particularly suited for certain tasks. Like I said, the small minions are very fast, good at attacking wizards. The large ones are very effective against the smaller minions, but one large area effect can really do them in. As you can see, we're passing over a bridge here, and you can see the lovely waterfall. Here's Green's tower, pretty much left unguarded. Unfortunately, a wizard's magic does not do a lot of damage to a tower. Why should it? It's stone. Because the goal of the game is really to get your minions to your opponent's towers to destroy them. Let's see how much time is left. We have about 4 minutes left. One of the nice features we put in... Okay, there's the dragon. There's one of the orange dragons. As you can see, extremely effective against minions. Susceptible to a hyperspace, perhaps. There's the orange dragon. We can see blue's dragon there waiting for action. Sort of they're just dancing, grooving around. One additional feature we added is the macro command menu in the lower left-hand corner. Those are accessible via the D-pad. We're using Xbox controllers, by the way. And those are such common commands as tell all your minions to come and defend my tower. Come and defend me. Attack the closest tower, or attack the closest wizard. That way you can be highly effective without spending time in the real-time strategy mode. It's wizard casting something. Where is it? I believe that meteor took out about half of Blue's army. But the dragon still stands. Oh, and here comes the fourth one! You see Blue has spawned 2 dragons now. Very deadly combination. Dragons, as they're larger, they're more powerful, they take a lot longer time to spawn. There's the tower collapsing, there's the dragon unfortunately dying due to the collateral from the meteor blast. There's that bomb soul, still wreaking havoc. We have about 2 minutes left. This is the time when you really... Oh, there's a meteor. This is the time when you really want to do the most damage to your opponents. As you can see, Orange's tower is failing fast. We can see the status screen by pressing one of the buttons, and that shows you how many points you have, relative health of the wizards and towers. Orange Wizard, you can see, has a couple of texture effects. We had a nice setup that you could modify your wizard. Orange's tower is gone, I believe, if you look at the status screen. Orange's tower is both dead and gone, as is Orange, leaving only Green and Blue surviving. However, we have 2 floating bomb souls ready to pounce. So here comes a large army of Greens. The minions follow an interesting pathfinding algorithm. It is difficult to get them to move around when terrain isn't passable without having them climb over mountains. No one wants that. So basically, the way minion movement works is if they can get to their path unimpeded, they will take it. They will just go straight there. Otherwise, they will follow a predefined set of nodes that are placed strategically around the map so that they will follow those in a sort of path. See, the hammer minions are quite strong. And there's the end of the match. You can see status here, how many minions of each type and wizard you killed, how many they killed, and total score at the end. Looks like the winner is a wizard with 58,820.1 points. and Talha close behind with 11,508 points. So that's the game. You can adjust the time, and we have an option there where you can play the full-on mode that is not timed. Are there any questions?
Let's thank the group. Does anybody have any questions for the students about how they did, what they did, what you guys saw on the screen that was maybe a little confusing, or how did they do any of the cool effects that you saw?
What was the overall hardest part of the project? Putting things together.
They're shy. A lot of crashes in initially integrating the individual modules. So I was developing some of the minion movement. Talha had developed some sort of the models, and we tried to put them together, and the system crashed about 20 times.
I just like 360 controllers. You want to do something after that?
Also, using the 360 controllers gives a much more involved feel for the third-person view, whereas if you were with a mouse and a keyboard, then you'd probably tend more towards the RTS side.
What's QA? Yeah, no. A lot of our testing was done in the last week because we were adding features right up to the end. The dragon only made its appearance yesterday, I believe. And
How many students, how many other people did you have come into the lab?
20 or so? 25? Yeah, 20 to 30. In various stages. We had some people come a couple weeks ago and reaffirmed some of our suspicions that, yeah, we really should fix that, or, yeah, that's really not so intuitive. So quality assurance was definitely a large part of developing this.
So the group that wanted to, their goal for the week was to have other people play the game while they did other classes. Maybe you know which group it is now.
What are any bugs that still remain?
If you looked at any of the dragons other than the blue one, the textures were all wrong on them. It was just kind of randomly scattered. It's we didn't really test very much right before starting, and the stuff that we just added is kind of messed up. But it's mostly working though. I was pleased.
There were no crashes, which is great. The terrain objects are movable through. You can move through trees and rocks and things. Also, it seems like the sound or the music was unfortunately not playing. The music was something that I wrote about fifth week, just a 2-minute sort of thing, reminiscent of other games. Also, occasionally minions hang up when they're traversing through the graph, especially when they're trying to cram through a narrow spot.
Where did you guys get your textures?
We have Photoshop.
You guys went to Yosemite.
Chris took a trip to Yosemite earlier in the quarter and took some very nice pictures. For the terrain, at least.
So are there any other features that you really wish you guys had add, or
Bonus items were something we wanted to add, perhaps quicker casting times, more health, something you pick up, like a potion that gets scattered around the world. What's that? A couple more spells. We always had great ideas for spells, and we wanted to keep it down to 10 for simplicity's sake.
Is it a dedicated server that's managing the clients, or is it a one client that's active?
We have a dedicated server process.
Okay, why don't we take one more question if there is one? Way in the back.
Yeah, so you guys combined the third person view with the strategy game. Do you guys feel like that worked well in the end, or is there?
General consensus was it went well. In our testing, it was very fun to play with for people. It was daunting at the beginning of the quarter, saying that, okay, we have to tackle the challenges of both first person and real-time strategy. But we felt that it was a nice combination.